Hello and welcome to episode 136 of the Talking Wednesday podcast. James and Jake joining you this week. There is no camera for myself. That's because I'm currently moving a lot of different things about. There's a lot of rearranging and things going on. So the camera is somewhere else in use. So I cannot currently use it for the podcast. But basically, we didn't know if we'd be able to do this podcast today, so the camera's not set up. You don't need to see my Jesus tribute act every single week. We know what I look like. There we go.
Yeah,
but yes,
if nothing changed. He's not suddenly cut his hair and joined a different cult.
Well, that'd be a laugh, wouldn't it? That would be quite interesting if I had decided to do something like that. But no, I haven't done that just yet. How's your week been, my friend?
It's been very, very, very busy, and the realisation that I've only got 88 days left of being a family of the free terrified me. Absolutely terrified me. Because I thought we had a lot of things prepared. We do have a lot of things prepared, but in my head, we don't. So trying to calm my head down a little bit has been fun. But
I don't think the internet's going to see you for a good 6 months.
Yeah. On the good news is, though, my area finally got Virgin Media here, and it looks like we might be getting a gig up and a gig down at our internet.
That's quite nice.
And I'm kind of excited about that because I'm so sick of talk, and having the faster internet will make life so much easier.
It does. Like I will be leaving behind the internet in the not too distant future. Of we've got 500 up, 500 down here. Not 500 up. Sorry, 500 down, and about I think. Hang on, I'll run it while we're talking.
I'll do a little speed test.
Yeah, but no, it is a game changer because now like. Some places don't even have half decent fibre optic. It's so behind.
It's only just
so
come
annoying.
Up where I am, and it's just like, oh, thank God. Like, I'm currently getting 40 down and about 18 up.
Yeah.
And I'll be paying. Also, the lovely thing is, a couple of O2 customers as well. We get a discount for it because Virgin and O2 are together now. And I also get the thing because the bloke at the door tried to sell it us badly and said he could get us out of our deal. We've managed to get it for the 35 quid a month instead of the 47 discounted when it should be 50 quid a month without the discount. So
yeah, they try that with the door-to-doors, don't they?
Yeah, he's like, you can get us out of your contract. Like, can you? I don't think you can. It's like, we'll tell you, you just moved house. It's like, very difficult to do that to my provider who I moved house with.
Well, it's when you read that they go like that. Those people door to door usually try and put you into a 24-month contract, and that's just a nightmare. Please don't tell me that's the window cleaner. Keep talking. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. But it's that whole thing where you've got to try and work out what your good internet going to be like. Don't get me wrong, 40/18's okay, but having something where it's a gig up and a gig down is going to be game changing. If you thought I was good at getting transfer videos up when I had rubbish internet, now think of what I'll be like when I've got good internet.
Well, here, like, this is on Wi-Fi. For some reason, the Ethernet's not working in my machine at the minute, but I'm getting over 470 down and over 50 up on. Oh,
you're going to so miss that, aren't you?
Yeah, well, don't get me wrong. Like, there's been a lot of spots where I've not you've been able to utilize that, but it is something. It is really nice. It's completely. You don't even think about it. I will say the one thing I do notice with Virgin, or allegedly, by the way, just for whatever one of these companies have ever said anything, but my experience, the room coverage isn't fantastic. So, like, if you go upstairs and you're away from the hub, the actual Wi-Fi reach isn't
great. But I think that's because our house was built in like 1932, so it's really thick walls. I'm on the verge actually before they came and knocked on doors, getting a mesh system in the house anyway.
Yeah, it is a game changer, especially for what you do. Jesus Christ, your videos are going to get up even quicker.
Yeah. It's like we can give you this. It's like, what's your best package you can do, and what price can you do for like illegally selling me it? Like, what can you afford? Well, this is what I can afford. We got a baby on the way, and Sarah kind of went, he's disabled as well. And I went, oh, okay, we can give you this. I'm like, oh, great. You being pregnant did it. Me being disabled sold it. Brilliant.
Oh my God, you played all the cards. All the cards getting played. I respect it. But no, we had the people at the door, and they offered like it's these private broadband companies. I'm getting a no soliciting sign, by the way. I'm being
good idea.
But it's just, I didn't realize, like, I used to do the podcast for a while. Like there was a little while where I was at South Families for a while.
Yeah.
And their internet is so bad.
Oh, I remember sending you files.
It was a case of a podcast, especially those old, like 2.5 hour, 3 hour podcasts we do. They take about 8 hours to upload. It was ridiculous. Like an hour podcast on there would take 3 hours to upload.
I remember I would send you a message saying it's up. It says, right, I'm off for a really long walk because this is going to take a while.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Even just downloading the actual initial file that you send me takes ages.
Yeah.
So it's just, that was the not fun side. And you go from that to, if I upload something here, podcast, I'll literally upload an hour's podcast and it'll say like 12 minutes remaining, 15 minutes remaining. And I'm like, oh, come on. Come on.
So you'll be going back to your parents' place then when you need big games downloading to the Xbox.
Well, they've also got it. So that's the thing. They were in the remit of being able to have that. So yeah, that was.
At least you're not having to re-download Starfield. At least FIFA's going to be, or whatever it's called, going to be at least 50, 60 gig.
Yeah, well, the good thing with pre-installs is I didn't even really think about it because you can pre-install games now, which I do kind of like if you get in the if you get in the digital editions. I do like having the physical though. Anyway, we've only got you for a limited time today.
Yeah, we have.
So let's get into the episode. This is I've asked you how your week's been.
Yep.
My week's been all right. I was ill over the weekend again, which is fantastic, but for some reason that's just my life. So we are firing on as we always do. Today we've got some news. We've got the normal part of the Talking Wednesday podcast, and then we're going to be going into the transfer window as a whole. So we looked at Sheffield Wednesday transfers last week. We have got all the Championship transfers to basically go over, sometimes briefly, but sometimes in a little bit more depth, and we'll talk about our thoughts and how it will affect Wednesday in the Championship as a whole. So we're going to start today with always saying you can leave reviews. There's a Discord available for members currently, and members can join below this video. If you are watching it on the YouTube, go to youtube.com/dexteritybox, where you can support us financially. They're Talking Wednesday Extra. Jack rated his top 10 Tin Pot clubs as the last episode.
The membership.
Yep, that's available for our middle tier of membership. So our $4.99 members and above, you can go and check that out. And you've been warned. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yes, there will be more Talking Wednesday Extras to come, as we've been saying. You can also leave us nice reviews and we will read them out. But not if they're on Spotify. Please do leave them on Spotify, but it's really difficult for me to catch them on Spotify because you rate episodes, you don't rate podcasts.
You don't rate a podcast, yeah. It's like they do.
But if you do use podcasts, please just like every time you listen to an episode of ours, please rate it 5 stars. It's like it's like 1 click, 2 click for you, and it's quite big. It's quite big on the algorithm side for us. So please do that. Okay, so. Basically, what we want to talk today is we want to talk about the squad list. That's the big news. So the squad list for Wednesday came out. This is Wednesday's squad list in full. We've got, we are taking it from the Star, but I believe it was reported elsewhere. I don't know if it was Was it put on the website as well?
I don't think we did.
I'm
actually. No,
I'm not sure we did. No, so we will take it from the start here. This is the squad list in full. Number 1 is Backinson. No, I won't read the full names. There's some great full names in here. 2 is Bannon. We've got. I'll just read them out rather than going through the numbers. There's 25 spaces. They consist of Backinson, Bannon, Bernard, Buckley, Byers, Dawson, Delgado, Bambo Diaby, Famiao, Fletcher, Gregory, Hendrick, Awekwe, Iorfa, James, Musaba, Palmer, Patterson, Smith, Valentin, Vasquez, Volks, Wilkes and Windass. So you will note that there is no Momo Diaby in there, and there is also no Marvin Johnson. We will understand that Momo Diaby is injured, so that will just probably be a case of there is 1 slot free. That was 24 names I just read there. That could be for Momo when he comes back, when he's fit to come back in. But the fact it's not being given to Johnson would suggest that, because you think you give it to Johnson in the interim. But what that says to me is we're hopeful we'll get Momo Diaby back before Christmas and we can register him.
Yeah, and also Gastelum doesn't have to be in the list because he's under 21, and that's the same with Pierce Charles, because under 21 don't have to be put in. Yes,
so if you're a football manager nerd, you will know that already. The under 21s do not need to be registered in the championship, so Gassama and Charles are exempt there. So, what were your thoughts when this came out, Jake?
You know what? I wasn't surprised. It's what I kind of expected, to be fair. We all knew Johnson wasn't going to be in it, and I think the big thing for me with the Johnson thing, apparently there was a deal ready to go for Derby. It sounds like we moved the goalposts on negotiation a deal for him to go, and it fell through. And it's like, why keep him if you're not going to use him? Because he's going to just play with the under 21s training.
Basically
stuff,
messing it. I don't like that. Actually,
I don't like it. You might as well turn around. If he's not going to be in the plans, make it so that he's not in the plans and let him go out and have either 6 months, and then if he does well, let him go, sell him. He don't deserve that. I think it's bad on the play. It looks bad on the club. Again, I don't think it's the manager's fault. Anything to do with transfers. I hate to say it, I gotta say it again, but the book's not for Chansiri, and it builds that kind of Chansiri brigade up again. And the problem is, Chansiri isn't doing a great job in terms of season ticket prices, all that kind of stuff. But is he still paying the tax man? Yes. Is he still keeping the lights on? Yes. That's about all I get the credit for, and backing a little bit in the transfer window, but I am getting frustrated by it at the minute.
That's fair. I think we'll always have the view of if there's nobody else better to come in, then you stick with what you've got. But that doesn't mean you can't criticise where that needs to criticise. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups again. Oh, it's been a while. But yeah, criticism is needed in areas, Jake. That's a really salient point, to be fair. But with this specifically with Marvin, I think it's a little bit of a disservice to someone who served us really well last season. He comes and signs another contract. Granted, obviously, it's a little bit of a late signing on there, but the fact it's a late signing would so close to Chisco's appointment as well. You would have thought, oh well.
It sounds like Chisco signed off on it as well. It sounds like to me that he'd been signed off it. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's a fitness issue. I don't know if it's something going on behind the scenes. It's worth mentioning he can
still play in the cup.
Yes, he can.
But
don't think he will.
We are also out of the cup.
Oh God, yeah, we are.
It would be the FA Cup, and that doesn't really get going until later on anyway. So he's not going to play at all.
No, it's just not fair on him. But at the same time, I will give Johnson massive credit because he's been quite a good professional about it. Whenever he's seen him interacting on social media, he's gone, "It's football. It is what it is. It happens. I'll just have to just carry on." And I think some players had that thing where they can say things and do stuff. I think he's just going about it going, "It's football. It is what it is, and I'll sort it whenever it gets sorted."
We're paying him money to do nothing now.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the thing. That's what doesn't make sense. Oh well. it's one of those where you've just got
one
to see
step forward,
try
three
and see
step
them.
back.
Yeah, if he's not going to play and manager doesn't fancy him, fair enough. But it is a bit weird. I'm hoping the fact that Wilkes is registered means that Wilkes is... Come on, Wilkes, you've got to come good.
Yeah.
Please.
Just do something.
Right. We will get into the transfers then. It's not going to be the specifically long episode today, but we will be back to some normality on that in the future. This is obviously an international break as well, so there's not a lot of news popping off at the minute to talk about. We will start in alphabetical order, so we will start with Birmingham City's business. So they brought in Dion Sanderson, Lee Butchernan, Ethan Laird, Christian Belic, Tyler Roberts, Keshi Anderson, Kojo Miyoshi, Siriki Dembele, Oliver Burke, Jay Stansfield, Emmanuel Alwu, and Cody Drame. They are all... So we've got 5 permanents with a fee there. Dion Sanderson was 2.3. This is in euros, obviously. 2.3 million euros. Lee Butchernan was 1.5 million. Ethan Laird was just under $1 million. Christian Belic was 580k. Tyler Roberts 430k, all in euros there. Sorry about that. And then Anderson and Miyoshi were free transfers. Dembele was an undisclosed. It was an undisclosed there. We also have...
Yeah, we're loans, weren't they?
Yeah, so 4 loans. Burke, Stansfield, Alwu, and Drame are loans. So, looking at those clubs, like I look at those players and I think, they could have easily been Wednesday style signings. There's some decent signings, like Laird, 21 years old.
Sanderson.
You know that. Yeah, Sanderson specifically is a player that I'd have liked to see at Wednesday.
Look
Tyler
at the age,
Roberts,
but then
forward.
look at how much they've actually spent. It's hardly anything, and it's quality players.
Yeah. If you look at who went out as well, so they sold Chong to Luton for 4.7 million, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have him that long either, did they?
No, last season.
And they made a hell of a profit. They sold Joe Bellingham to Sunderland for 1.7 million. Sam Cosgrove left on a free, Graham left on a free, Colin left on a free, George Friend left on a free, Troy Deeney left on a free, Harley Dean left on a free, Nico Gordon left on loan to Solihull Moors, Zach Jaycock left on loan to Gloucester. My contact lens just decided to do something really weird in my eye. And Josh Williams went to Cheltenham on loan. So it's one of those situations where they shipped off a lot of older players that were probably on bigger wages and reinvested in great areas.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I think it shows you the way of doing things where this window wasn't as bad as people made out it to be for other clubs. You look at it and you think that's a lot, but then you look at what they spent. Like in Birmingham case, they spent 5.69 million euro, but 4.7 and 1.75, that's about where they got all the money back from. So they just reinvested it.
If you think of it as well, that like the situation Birmingham were in not too long ago, and the fact that now they've done that business and they're sat 4th in the table on 11 points, they're unbeaten to the start of the season.
Yeah.
It's just a sign of how to do it right, really, isn't it?
Yep.
Ones to watch this season. Moving on to Blackburn, they had one fee that was disclosed, which was Wallstedt, who's a goalkeeper. He left odd.
That's literally
what this podcast is, mate. Odd.
Yeah.
I'm trying to load the team. It just said odd. Odds BK.
Yeah.
There you go. That was €1 million, and then they signed on a free Niall Ennis, Sondre Tronstad, Semir Tjelevic was an undisclosed, James Hill was a loan and Andy Moran was a loan. And then they've promoted 3 from their youth academy as well. They've also brought in Arne Sigurdsson from Moscow on a loan.
Yeah.
Departure-wise, they sold Kaminsky to Luton for 2.9 million. Ashley Phillips to Tottenham for 2.3 million.
This is the one that doesn't make sense. Why the hell do you not cash in on Diaz?
Yeah. Diaz goes on a free. Yeah. His market value says there, if you're going off transfer market, it says 16 million euros. And they just let him go. Daniel Butterworth as well.
Yeah.
23 years old. He's gone on a free to Carlisle. Bradley Dack, free again to Sunderland. James Brown, undisclosed to Ross County. Teo Edun, undisclosed to Charlton. And then Buckley to us, obviously, on loan, which is left their fans scratching their head a little bit. Jack Vale, the centre forward, to Lincoln on loan. They released Ilya. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I used to sign a lot of these players on FIFA. It's weird seeing the names, but I don't think they have strengthened as well as they have shipped
They've
out.
weakened themselves.
Yes.
But there is an interesting thing.
It's not like they cashed in.
Yeah, but there's an interesting thing at Blackburn at the minute that the Venkis have been told by India they've got to not put much money into the club now. There's a lot of clubs that are foreign owned. Is that
an alleged thing?
Yeah, alleged. Yeah. But there's a lot of clubs at the minute who are turning around allegedly by their country saying you need to put more money into the country than your foreign outfits that you're running. And I think you're seeing a lot of that with clubs that are foreignly owned.
It's just weird, probably so that's like 2.3 million. What's that in the exchange rate now? It's currently 2 million. So that's just it's 1.969. So just under 2 million for Ashley Phillips, but he's a young sort of rated centre back. So you're getting rid of your prime and your potential future there.
Yep.
So, and they probably would have let Buckley go with a little bit more pressure on the fee.
Yeah.
So the fact that they just let him go on loan, I think they'll. We're not doing a predictions video here, but in terms of their business, it's probably not the best in terms of trying to strengthen. Bristol City, they 2.3 million euros on Ross McCrory. Jason Knight brought in from Derby. I rate that one actually. 2.3 million.
Definitely.
Rob Dickey from QPR for 810k. They brought in Hayden Roberts on a free transfer from Brighton.
Previously
linked with us quite a few times. Taylor Gardner Hickman on loan from West Brom. And the big one for Bristol City is they have made a lot of profit. They've made an 18 million euro profit because they sold Alex Scott to Bournemouth for 23 million euros. So quite a bit of money there. Lost to Silva on a free to Coventry. Taylor Moore
cracking deal.
Went as well. Callas went as well. Masengo went to Burnley on a free as well. So they lost him. He's got a market value of 5 million euros apparently as well. So
and he's good as well.
Yeah, I think Knight's pretty good. It's pretty shrewd signing that, but you would think they have weakened more than they've strengthened. But they've not done too badly, I will say. They've not they've made good money, and they have not completely ripped apart.
They still got room that they can go in January as well. That they can go get more if they need it, because that Scott deal has really helped them just have a bit in the bank.
Yeah, and it's not hurting them too much so far. It's not obviously lighting the world on fire, but first 5 games, they've got 8 points. They've only lost once, 2 draws, 2 wins. It's what you'd call average, isn't it?
Now again, when we go on to Cardiff, another team that's foreign owned, just look at the ins and then look at the outs.
Well, let's just do that right now. So all the ins are either frees or loans, and it's they've brought in Siopis, Gutas, Aaron Ramsey, and Yaku Meteti. They are all free transfers. So 4 free transfers. Then on loan, they've brought in Panzo from Forest, Carlon Grant from West Brom, Josh Bowler from Forest, and Runarsson, the goalkeeper, from Arsenal. They've also promoted Eli King from the under-21s, and they've brought in Ugbo as the centre forward from Troyes. They're not too bad in terms of incomings, to be fair, but they've obviously not. A lot of them aren't their players. They've done some good business with like the likes of Aaron Ramsey and bringing in some better players. Like Carlon Grant's not a bad punt, to be honest. So some really, really good loans, but when you talk about, again, they've not spent any money. They've spent nothing in terms of fees, and their outgoings is probably shipping off wages again. So they got a fee of £330 for Waters, who went to Barnsley, and then they free transfer wise, they released Sang, White, Dylan Phillips, and Mark Harris. Then Shea Ojo's gone out on loan. Denham's gone out on loan. So they shipped out Eli King straight away on loan to Morecambe, so he's promoted and gone on loan. Isaac Davis gone on loan, and Joel Bagan's gone on loan as well. So they've not spent any money. So yeah, you've probably got a thing going there. I don't think they're going to necessarily. I don't think it's the worst thing I've seen, but at the end of the day, Cardiff didn't. I'm right in saying Cardiff didn't have we weren't in the league, obviously, but didn't Cardiff not do very well last season?
They came close to going down, but they managed to just manage to pull it out of the bag.
So you'd think you'd want to strengthen potentially a little bit more in that situation, and they've brought in a really experienced head in sort of Aaron Ramsey, but you're a couple of injuries away for potentially being in trouble again. Yeah, they only finished 5 points above the drop. They were 21st. Yeah. They were fourth from bottom. So you'd want to see your club spending a bit of money in that situation, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Coventry, on the other hand, obviously had a great season last season. They have spent some money, quite a bit of money, but they've also made quite a bit of money.
I'm gonna say.
So they've brought. That's how you do it. That's how you want to do it. You know, like they've brought in Haji Wright from Antalyaspor for €9 million, paying over his market value, apparently, by the way. Market value was only 6 on that. Ellis Sims, they brought in for €7 million. That's quite a bit of money for Sims, actually. €7 million. Like, yeah. Liam Kitchen, 4.6 million from Barnsley. Ewich, 4.3. Bobby Thomas from Burnley, 2.3. Sakamoto from KV Oostendi for 2.2. Brad Collins, the Barnsley goalkeeper, for 580k. So again, Euros do that. Then they brought in Freeze of Latbodier. Jay De Silva, great loan, great free that actually, from Bristol City. Ayari from Brighton. Again, that's a loan though, not a free, sorry. And then Lewis Binks from Bologna. So some good incomings. They did, however, lose their star man in Gyökeres. Is it Gyökeres the way you say it? I'm not too sure. I don't know why I think it is. Yeah, €20 million for that. Gone to Sporting, obviously. And then Gustavo Hamer, their defence. So they lost centre forward, and defensive midfielders are really, really important in the game nowadays. You're seeing that more and more and more. They lost theirs
to the other side.
To Sheffield United at €17.3 million. And then Josh Reed, they sold to Ross County. Then Sean Maguire left on a free to Carlisle. Good signing for Carlisle, that. Tyler Walker went to Lincoln. De Costa went to Sochaux. Waghorn went to Derby. Michael Rose went to Stoke. Darbo went to Forest Green. Burrows went to Lincoln City. Todd Kane was released. And Howley was loaned to Dundee. Sorry, Burrows was loaned to Lincoln, by the way. He's 22-year-old right midfielder. I think they've shipped. I don't think they've replaced their quality, but I think they've made educated purchases. And I think it's the model. It's the Moneyball model, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of clubs. If you look at down the transfer, I think there's a lot of clubs doing that model now. It's not a case of to be fair, we've gone a little bit down that model. If you look at what we've done. And I think
they still made a 7 million profit. So they brought players in and made a 7 million profit because they had 2 big fees. They made 37.3 million from 2 signings. And with that money, they were able to, if you're talking about the fees they were able to do 7 fees. They sold 3 players for a fee and bought 7 off the back of that, along with 2 frees. So it's a good way to use the market.
Oh, definitely.
I think they'll do well again this season. So Huddersfield Town, we get to Huddersfield Town. They bring in Chris Maxwell on a free, Ben Wiles for an undisclosed from Rotherham. Berzong was a loan. Tom Edwards from Stoke was a loan, and then they've promoted a load of players. Not fantastic from Huddersfield, really. Their outgoings were Kamara. They got 2 million for him. Vaklich was a free. Danny Grant was a free. Daly was a free. Critchlow was a free. Schofield was a free. So all those players going for free, and then they've let 3 players go for undisclosed free in Dwayne Holmes, Will Boyle, Balakovic, and then they loaned out Jordan Rhodes, Aaron Rowe, Connor Mahoney, Kieran Phillips, Scott High, and Tyrese Simpson.
I forgot.
And also Brodie Spencer.
Aarons was a bloody free agent.
Who? Which Aarons?
Aarons.
Sorry.
The one that we have.
Oh, yeah. Of course he is, yeah. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, Rolando Aarons. It was the one I was going to read out. Yeah, the 2 players that were released that haven't gone to another club, funnily enough, are Florian Camberi and Rolando Aarons.
Funny that, isn't it?
That is quite funny. Even Jordan Rhodes got a loan deal to Blackpool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Huddersfield are going to be in trouble again. They're going to be down there with us at this rate. So, yeah.
Fighting.
Yeah. Hull City bring in Philogene, 5.8 million. Aaron Connolly, really good move that, actually. 1.35 million euros from Brighton. For undisclosed fees, they brought in Lokalo, right winger, James Furlong, left back, Ryan Alsop, and Javier Simmons. Fantastic free transfers there, and then loading in Liam Delap. So they've got Connolly and Delap in one window. Loading in Scott Twine. Again, a great loan. Tyler Morton,
another loan.
Loan from Liverpool. Yep. Adin Lick from Fenerbahce. Ruben Vinagre from Sporting on loan again. Again, a great loan. And then they're out. You look at their outgoings. Totte went to Mets for 1.8 million. They lost Tyler Smith, Chadwick, Callum Elder, Figueiredo, Cartwright, Estupinan. Not that one. Fleming, Javier Simmons, Ryan Woods, Callum Jones, Ryan Longman. They all went on either a free transfer or a loan transfer. Yeah. So there's a lot of loans and frees going out there. To be fair, though, a good half of them. So that list from Harvey Cartwright down were all loans, and they're their younger players, apart from Ryan Woods.
It'll be interesting to know how close Hull are to FFP, because they spent a lot last season. Because that's when they first had the takeover. But they've let players go.
Yeah, the thing is, though, they've still made a €5 million loss this time. So if they were close, they're pushing it even closer. And they did finish 15th last season. So
yeah,
I think they're strengthened in the right areas. I reckon they're going to do all right, to be fair. It's good business. And then you get to Ipswich Town, who brought in... bloody hell, Ipswich. There's so much money in this club, right? I say that, though. They haven't actually spent a lot this season. It was more last season. Jack Taylor... 1.75. George Hurst made permanent for 1.75. Amari Hutchinson, a fantastic loan from Chelsea. Kieran Slicker, undisclosed from Man City's under-21s. Dane Scarlett on loan, again, great potential on that loan. Brandon Williams was a loan, but you can imagine there's probably quite a bit.
Oh, look who they signed that last week, by the way, who was on my list.
Twanzebe, on my list as well. Yeah, so they brought Twanzebe is a great free transfer. Baggett as well from they brought from Ipswich's under 21s there, so they promoted from their under 21. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. Departures wise, Coleman went on a free. Pidgeot went on a free. Pidgeot. Is that Pidgeot that we were talking about for a while?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Harper went on a free. Richard Keogh went on a free. Kane Vincent Young went on a free. Greg Lee went on undisclosed. Yangi went on loan. Kyle Edwards has gone on loan. What's happened to Kyle Edwards' career? Wasn't he like really highly rated?
Yeah, he was
for a while.
You know what? I'm starting to see a pattern here though, because I've just seen Matt Penny without a club.
Oh God, yeah, the only player that got released without a club is Matt Penny. Ipswich, business in the right areas. They spent really, really well last season. They're flying. I can't. And just in terms of that, you look at it on paper, you go, they probably don't have the best business in the Championship, but it's really good moves. It's high potential, high caliber signings, really, isn't it? Yeah. Leeds brought in Perot for 14 million, Ampardo 8.1 million. Gruev, 6.5 million. Again, all in euros, by the way. Glenn Kamara, 5.8 million. Jed Spence, fantastic loan fee of 1.1 million. Carl Darlow in from Newcastle for 400k. Sam Byron was a free. Joe Roden was a free. Jaden Anthony was on loan. And then their outgoings-wise, they lost Tyler Adams, but for 26.9 million euros. Rodrigo, 3.5 million. Robin Koch went on a loan. They got a loan fee for him. He's gone on loan to Frankfurt for 500k. Wober is the same, but to Gladbach. Tyler Roberts has gone to Birmingham for 430k. Then leaving on a free was Robles, Adam Forshaw, and then loan transfers. They loaned quite a few players out in Sam Greenwood, Sonny Perkins, Cody Drame, Jack Harrison, Mark Roker, Christiansen, Brendan Aronson, Luis Sinisterra, who obviously didn't want to play in the Championship. Really, really good signings again. They are a Premier League side now. They have really established themselves as those caliber players they have got. They have got top-end Championship. You are getting back to the Premier League signings. However, we do know that they haven't had the start to the season that they would want. So it's all about getting those players in and having them gel, which hasn't happened for Leeds yet. But the amount of quality they have got in their squad. Yeah. It's a career mode dream, Jake. It's a career mode dream.
Oh, God, yeah.
Leicester City brought in Harry Winks for 11.6 million. Tom Cannon, 8.8 million. Connor Cody, 8.7 million. Mavid Didi, 7.5 million. Hamilton for 7 million. And then they spent a 500k loan fee on Atkin. They've also loaned in Kasady from Chelsea's under-21s, Fatawu and Callum Doyle from Man City's under-21s. They have some decent incomings there. They've some really, really good players. You know, Harry Winks, I think he'll be great in the Championship. Connor Cody, fantastic, probably absolutely quality in the Championship there. Cannon, we know we were linked with him, but we would know we were spending anywhere near that money. They have also they've made money. They've made 60 million profit, which is what you need. And that's in player sales as well, by the way, not even propped up by their parachute payments. Because they have sold. Sorry, do you want to say something?
Yeah, there you go. You have the thing that if you have the situation with them, they don't need parachute money payments if that's what they're doing.
No, absolutely not. And then you've got like James Maddison, who they got 46.3 million euros. Harvey Barnes, 44 million euros. Just Castagne, 13 million euros. George Hurst, 1.75 million euros. Player that never even really played for them in George Hurst there. They're getting money for him, you know. Christiansen, 1 million loan fee. They lost Sionchu on a free. They lost Perez. They lost Johnny Evers. They lost Amate. They lost Tillemans. Tillemans is a big blow to go on a free. Don't get me wrong. That's a big player to lose on a free. So they did have their hits of getting relegated. They also obviously loaned out Samare and Thomas, who you would consider to come back to them when they get promoted again and reevaluate. But I will say James Maddison's market value is going to rocket, and that 46 million euros is going to look like an absolute steal because it already is starting to.
Oh, God, yeah.
Really good business, though, from Leicester, as you'd expect. Middlesbrough, 5 million on Latela, Seri Dieng, 2.3, Engel, 1.75. brought in on a free Gilbert, Glover and Jamie Jones. Undisclosed for Bangura, Rogers, Silviera and Van der Berg. Then loaned in Sam Greenwood and Lewis O'Brien. So, in terms of outgoings, they sold Chumba Akpom for 12.3 millions.
That's a million.
Yep. Grant Hall left on a free. Lumley left on a free. Luke Daniels left on a free. 2 undisclosed in Piero and Bowler. Liam Roberts, Matthew Hope, or Hop left on loan. So they made a profit, and they also brought in some players that I can't lie, I don't know too much about. So it's all a roll of the dice, that one, really. And at the minute, it's not paying off because they are bottom of the league. They are bottom of the league, only on goal difference to us. So, yeah.
I worry
they made a profit
for
at least.
Certain job. For Carrick's job.
I'd probably say the same, mate. Millwall, Denoy, 2.5 million. Nisbet, 2.34 million. Sarkic, 1.4 million. Free transfers in were Brian, Harding. Yeah, Brook Norton Cuffey was a loan. They brought in Longman and Alan Campbell on loan as well. Outwards in terms of free transfers, Scott Malone, Bennett, George Evans, Vogslammer, George Long, undisclosed for Bury, Tyler Bury, Mitchell's gone out on loan, and Sanford has been released without a club. They have so they've brought in some players and they've made a loss in that window. What are your thoughts on Millwall?
It'll be interesting to see what they do, but Millwall always up and there around. They always get those free agents that you know are quite decent. So they're a little bit like Peterborough in that sense.
Yeah. Norwich City spent 3 million on Fastnach. Don't say that name too fast. Is it Fasanach? I don't know. Kellen Fisher, 120k. They brought in on free transfers. They brought in Adam Forshaw, George Long, Borja Sains, Ashley Barnes, Shane Duffy, and Jack Stacey. So they only spent 3 million, right? Danny Bath was an undisclosed, and Huang was a loan from Nottingham Forest. They spent 3 million, and again they're in profit. They've made a 24 million net because they're in 24 million net because they sold Bamidele for 12.85 million euros. Max Aaron's 8.1 million to Bournemouth. Rashika's gone to Besiktas for 5.25. You're welcome, by the way, guys, for this episode and the pronunciation. Ballymumba went for 1.5 million, and then on frees, Timo Pukki goes, so that's big wages off. Sam Byram, Michael McGovern, Daniel Sanani, Kieran Dowell. Undisclosed was Tim Krul, apparently, but I think we've read that somewhere else. I'm not sure. Kamara was a loan out. Tomkinson was a loan out, and Christos Tozeles was a loan out. So they've made good money. They've a lot of frees, and they've gone for an experience window. Thoughts on doing the experience?
Very much so.
Yeah. Your thoughts on them going for the experience over the youth, maybe? What are you thinking?
I think it's kind of a little bit smart, but also you look at what they've had to do the following season. They had a lot of experience. I think it's about cutting wages because they know they've only got one more season with FFP. So they've been very smart with getting what they can off wages.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. So we've got 2 options now. We can stop the podcast because you've got to go, or I can finish it off. However, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more 11 more clubs to go, and I feel like that's a lot for me to just finish off and not have us both discussing them. So what I suggest we do to all our audience today is we cut this podcast off here. We say this is it for today, and then we'll have a bit of a longer episode next week where we'll catch up. We'll go from Plymouth all the way down, and we will discuss our thoughts on those to add to it, because Sheffield Wednesday next play
Ipswich on Saturday.
Yes, so there will be a game to talk about. So we'll be able to talk about the Ipswich game, but we'll also be able to just bumper in there. So hopefully there's not... I bet you there'll be loads of news and it'll be a 3-hour episode. But yes, we will deal with all that next week. Jake's got things to go and do, so thank you very much for all of your time this week, guys. Apologies for the slightly shorter episode. Take care, and we will see you in the next episode of Talking Wednesday.
See ya.